Hey guys, it's December and today I'm going to be filming my second story time ever. My first story time, I've went back and watched it and I honestly felt like I was kind of uncomfortable in front of my camera, and I don't want to feel like that. I love making videos. I love even if there's not a lot of people watching, I love filming. I love to do this and I want to essentially just tell my story to you guys. And I really want to tell this story before I get any further in my career, not in my YouTube career, but in my professional career other than YouTube. So I know I haven't filmed in a few weeks and I'm really sorry. I have filmed, but they're not ready to come out yet, so I haven't put them out yet, but they'll come out soon enough, okay? I swear. They're not done, and I don't want to put anything out that I don't feel is completely done. So today, I'm going to tell you guys my very first story time about my profession. This is going to be the story of how my crazy patient followed me home. And I've told the story to 3 people. My mom and my sister, and I think it was my brother. I'm sure my other family members heard, but I directly spoke it to these 3 people, and so they've heard it and they were all like, what the fuck? And I actually wanted to do another story time. I really wanted to do another one because essentially that's what I want to do. I want to tell story times because I have so many of them, and I feel like you guys should hear them. And so, I was like, what should I film? I asked my sister and she was like, you know what, you should film this. You should film that story of that crazy patient that followed you once. And I was like, oh my god, I'm actually graduating the Friday before this video comes out. So if this video comes out, if this video comes out before the 19th, April 19th, then I'm gonna graduate on April 19th. But if this video comes out after, then I've already graduated and I have no tie-ins. I'm not gonna speak any company's name. I'm not gonna say anything about this person. I'm just gonna call them the patient, okay? That is what they're gonna be called from this point on in the story. So basically, I was a student, and I went to school for phlebotomy. I am a phlebotomist, and I'm proud of it. It took me a while to realize what I wanted to do, and phlebotomy wasn't my first choice, but I'm really happy that I got to do, and that I get to do it day to day in my life. And I really like phlebotomy, but I haven't always been the best phlebotomist. Starting off, it's kind of harder to get the gist of it, the rhythm of the place. And at school, they actually make you, before you graduate, they make you take, right after you finish your course, you have to start the week that you graduate. So you graduate school, but you don't walk yet. And then they only have 2 ceremonies at the school that I go to. So they have one in spring and one in the fall. And so they don't give you your certificate yet, but you have already graduated. But before you graduate the classes, they send you on to internships. So they send you to a specific place and you get to do whatever you chose to do, whatever you learned to do, you get to do it in the professional environment. And so I was sent to be a student phlebotomist at this place. And it wasn't a little clinic. It's actually pretty full all the time. But yeah, that's where I got sent. And it was fine. I really didn't like the people there, but that's not really the point. The point is that I got a lot of patients from every age, number, size, color, everyone. I got to do essentially everyone in the general public. And so that's I just did those day to day. I had to do at least 100 successfully. And so I actually did more than 100 successfully. Not to toot my own horn, but I ended up doing more than 100 successfully during my internship. But anyways, so actually this was like my last week. This was literally my last week. This was like in the last 3 days. And I got this patient, and we are gonna call him. We're gonna call this person the patient. So the patient was very, I am kind of not intimidated quickly, but I'm very like, what's a good word for it? Like, I'm very uncomfortable. I get very uncomfortable very easily with people that I don't know. And obviously, working as a phlebotomist, you don't know almost anyone that you are drawing from. And so I got very uncomfortable a few times at this place that I was working at as a student. But, you know, I never really complained, nothing. But there was a specific person that I can think of that really made me uncomfortable. And it was the patient. So the patient was very, they were very, I can't describe them, but they were very, I don't know, what you would assume when you think of the word, I know this is kind of bad, don't assume kids, but like if you were to assume of someone, if you were to assume, like the first thing that pops up to your head when you think of maybe a kidnapper, that's pretty much exactly what this person looked like. And they made eye contact with me very quickly when they got into the clinic, and I was very uncomfortable because they actually asked for me specifically. And it was, I mean, I had patients ask for me before then, like just because they liked the way that I did, that I drew, or they were more comfortable with me. Like, it just happened that way. Patients get pretty comfortable with you once you draw them, and they like the way you draw them, or they like the way you talk to them, or you're respectful, or blah blah blah. Like, for whatever reason, some patients asked for me, but you know, it wasn't very common. But I never met this patient before, okay? And I was very uncomfortable because they were very like intimidating to me, and I'm not intimidated by a lot. Like, I try to not assume things, and I'm very like open-minded. I don't like to put people in a category and stuff like that. So whenever I see someone that's kind of out there, or a little bit like outrageous, or their clothing is a little bit outrageous, or they're not very they don't look like anyone else in the general public, I try not to assume. I try not to make them feel uncomfortable for being different, because, you know, most people are different, and I wouldn't like if someone made it uncomfortable for me. So I generally liked to make them pretty comfortable with me, know that I'm not judgmental. But this person was very intimidating, and the way that they looked at me was scary. And I know this kind of sounds dramatic because I can't explain it to you more than I am. Like, like I can't give you more details, more than I'm already giving you details. And it just, I don't know, this whole situation makes me uncomfortable to think about now. Basically, I take them back to the room. I call them up, I take them back to the drawing room, and I start to draw them. And I get the blood easy peasy, and then all of a sudden they start to ask me more and more like serious sexual questions. And at this point, I'm more than uncomfortable. Like, I'm literally, like, I've never felt more uncomfortable in my entire life than when this person is saying this stuff. And we were actually almost closing, so that's kind of important. It'll come up at the end. And so this person, I draw their blood, and then I let them go. I'm like, you know, you're set to go. You're all good. Like, go. Like, I'm trying to get this person out as fast as possible. I literally like miss a step in protocol, which is to make sure that that's their name. But it was their name. Like, I'm like stumbling on my steps trying to get this person out as fast as possible, because I don't want this person in my room anymore. I don't want to be in the same room as this person anymore, because suddenly I'm so uncomfortable that I don't remember what I have to do after, like, with the specimen that I have. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with the specimen now, because I completely forgot, because I'm spacing out, because I'm uncomfortable, because this person has made me so uncomfortable that I'm like forgetting everything. And like, I don't know, that's like literally, I just remember and it gets me irritated how freaking uncomfortable this was for me. So it was like 4:30 at this point, and so I draw another 2 patients, it's fine, and then I'm ready to go because I'm a student. I leave at 5. So I start to walk out. I actually go down the elevator and I start to walk out, and of the building. I start to walk to my car, and the parking lot's pretty empty at this point. It's not nighttime, but it's like later, and it was like almost December, so the sun was like setting around 5 to 6. Like, it was setting pretty early, and but it wasn't setting yet. It was like still, I mean, it wasn't warm, it was cold, but you know what I'm saying, like, it was cold, but it was like the sun was almost gonna set, so it was getting pretty late, and I was ready to go home. The clinic wasn't far from my house, so I just had to get in my car and drive home. Like, it wasn't that serious. So I was ready to go home. I was ready to forget about this patient, because even though I was uncomfortable, I wasn't gonna tell anyone anything. But then this happened. I actually passed this this vehicle. It's a larger vehicle. My car is a smaller car, and this vehicle is a bigger vehicle. And the patient is wearing sunglasses, but I can clearly still tell it's the patient. And I'm like, I drew this patient a long time ago. What are they still doing here? Like, I'm questioning it, but I'm like, you know what? There's a million reasons why someone could still be here. Maybe someone else is in there. Maybe they brought someone else with them and they went to the restroom. Like, anything could have happened, and I wasn't gonna sit there and be like, are you okay? Because I was uncomfortable by this person in the first place. I wasn't gonna ask them if they needed help. I'm sorry, I know that's like rude and whatever, but I wasn't gonna ask them if they needed help, because I was clearly uncomfortable by them, and they still insisted on asking me these weird questions, you know? So their vehicle door slams, and all of a sudden I hear footsteps behind me, and I start, like, I can tell it's the patient, and I kind of start speed walking to my car. I get in my car as fast as possible, and I close the door. I actually had one of the closer parking spots to the very entrance of the building. Thank God for that. Thank God that I had my car so close to the entrance of this building, because I don't know what this person was trying to do. Like, I don't know. So I hop in my car, and the patient's like, they actually go to my passenger side, and they're like knocking. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this is weird. This is weird. Clearly, like, someone has to be seeing this. This is weird. And the parking lot's not empty, but there's no one out there. There's cars, but there's no one out there. And I'm, like, literally sitting there like, what the heck? Like, what the heck could be going on? I don't understand. And so, I don't ask questions. They start calling, they call me doctor. I'm not a doctor, okay? But they say, doctor, doctor, doctor. Like, they're calling me doctor. And I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not getting out of this car. I'm not a doctor, first of all. And second of all, like, I'm not getting out of this car to help you. I'm sorry. So I clearly just, like, sorry. I start to back up. They kind of move when I turn, not when I turn my car on. When I put it in reverse, they can hear my car, like, kind of moves a little bit forward. And, I don't put it in reverse, I put it in drive. So when I put it in drive, my car moves a little bit forward, and then they move. This patient moves. And then I'm like, oh my god, like, this patient's weird. Like, what the flip could they want now? I'm in the parking lot. I clearly can't help you because I'm not in my establishment. There's no way that I could help you no matter what, because first of all, I don't know anything about cars, so I wasn't gonna help you with the car if there was something with their car. I'm not a doctor, and I couldn't help this person with anything that had to do with like a professional doctor, I couldn't give it to them. I'm sorry. And like I just wasn't gonna help this person anyways because they made me uncomfortable inside. So I get in my car and I like make my rounds, and I hear the car door slam again, and it's the patient's vehicle. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, this person just, like, I'm all of a sudden driving and so are they. Like, what the heck? And so I get into the first lane. Like, someone lets me in quickly. There's a lot of traffic, but someone lets me in quickly, thank God. And I'm like so thankful for this person because they let me in quickly, and I no longer hear of this patient. Okay, I don't see the car, nothing. And all of a sudden I hear a bunch of horns, and I look back because we're at a red light. I hear a bunch of horns, and I look back, and the patient is like 2 cars behind me. And I'm like, that's fine. Maybe they're finding a home. Maybe they gave up on whatever they wanted and they're finding a home. Little did I know, okay? Little did I know. So all of a sudden, the red light starts going, and I'm in like the lane closer, the right lane. So people are turning this way, and I go straight. And all of a sudden, like the 2 cars behind me, they turn. So the patient is right behind me now. And I start to kind of speed up. We're near a plaza, by the way. And then I switch lanes into the next lane because the patient's vehicle is now going a little bit faster. And I'm uncomfortable with fast cars. I have a lot of anxiety while driving. It's one of my biggest things is that I have a lot of anxiety while driving most of the time. I always have. And it's gotten worse while I've driven more, but especially at this time, like, I had a lot of anxiety while driving because of so much traffic. Like, you never know, you know? So I switch lanes because the vehicle is going pretty fast, and I don't want to be in front of this person because they are, like, how fast they're driving is making me uncomfortable. I can't go that fast because I'm not going to speed for you. I'm sorry. And I just wasn't having it. So I merged into the next lane. They let me in happily, which I'm so grateful for. And and all of a sudden the vehicle merges behind me, and I'm like, that's weird. And actually I look in my rearview mirror and I can see the driver, and they're like cussing at me. I don't even know what they're saying, but they're literally like this, like literally like, but like yelling and aggressive, more aggressive. And so then I'm like, what the heck? What could you possibly want? I yell like through my rear view. I actually roll my window down and I'm yelling, what could you possibly want at the patient, okay? And this is their response.
I'll let you know. I just want to talk to you. I really had a lot to say. Our conversation inside was so good. I just really want to talk. You seem like someone that I would really like. And there's so much I want to say to you.
Let me tell y'all, at that point, I was like, hell no, sis. I was not going to do this. This person was scary. And like I said before, I said that they picture them as like a what you would think of as a kidnapper. That's exactly what they looked like. And I was clearly uncomfortable in the room. I made it pretty clear. I cleared my throat. I said it like I kept saying, like, interrupting them, asking me these inappropriate questions. And I like clearly interrupted them because I didn't want to hear it, because I was uncomfortable, because this person was saying stuff that I didn't want to hear. I'm actually only 19 years old, and this person was much older than me. Like, just bear that in mind. Just a lot older than me, okay? And that's all I'm gonna say. And it was like, what could you possibly have to say? What could even go through your head? Like, I don't understand. Like, whatever. So I'm like, hell no. So I pull my window. My window goes back up. I roll it up, and then I get in the next lane to turn. And my car was actually like, no, they were still in the line to keep going, and I was now in the turning lane. So they stopped in the next lane to turn left, but I had already turned, and I turned into this plaza place that was crowded. And actually, like, I ended up circling through the plaza and into these like this little road that has like a bunch of apartments, and I ended up just parking in there and just quaking. Like, I literally sat there and was like, is this a joke? Like, this is such a joke, to be honest, because this is something that only would happen to me. This is just my life in a video. Like, to be honest, what the heck? And like, to no one else to be there, so no one else could see how stupid this was like ridiculous. And that none of my coworkers helped, even though I was clearly uncomfortable, also ridiculous. But not even the point, okay? Not even the point. So whatever. Then I end up, like, after a while that I don't see the car, I don't see this big large vehicle, I ended up just going home. But I tell my parents this after a while. Not after a while, like immediately when I get home, I pretty much tell my sister, my mom, and my brother. And I think my dad was there too, so I'm sure I told my brother too. I mean, my dad. I'm sure I told my dad too. And then my mom, like, didn't believe me. And then I was like, she was like, prove it. I can't prove it because I'm a professional and I don't want to lose my job, and I want to keep doing what I'm doing. So I'm not going to prove it to you because that would be like a violation, and I'm not going to do that. So I haven't proven it to her, but it makes me sick to think of what this person wanted. And they asked me very like intimate questions that they would have no business knowing, and I was not gonna share it with them. And it was not good for me, and it was not good for them, to be honest, because it was so weird. And the whole experience made me sick to my stomach that day. I was grossed out. I was quaking. I can't think of anything else to say other than what the heck? Like, weirdo. Why would you? And the thing here was that I know that they were not following me. I mean, I knew that they were following me because they actually ended up turning higher up, which wouldn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense that they would only turn when I'm gonna turn, and they would only go this way when I was going this way, and they would only do this. Like, it was honestly really scary, and I hated all of it. I hate all of this story. So if this crazy person ends up seeing this video, please leave me alone. Like, never ask me questions again. I don't ever want to draw you again. And yeah, it was really weird and not good, and I hated all of this, and I hope that this person never sees me again, because, to be honest, it was not a good situation. It was weird, and it was not good. So yeah, and yeah, I hope that it never happens to anyone like this, because I'm sure it could have been worse. I'm sure anything could have been worse, but it's not good, honestly, because I'm very easily uncomfortable, and it just wasn't a good situation for me to be in, to be honest. And it was not okay that this person thought it was okay to ask me these questions, these such intimate questions that I wouldn't even, like, no one would ask me this unless I was, like, married. So why the heck would you want to know? Like, why would this random stranger want to know? And like, and what the heck kind of person just comes into someone's workplace and asks them stuff like this? Like, what kind of person does that kind of stuff? Like, I don't understand. And yeah, that's all I really have to say on this. If you guys want to hear more story times, I have so many more. I have kept working in my profession, so I have more weird story times of more patience. And I actually once got offered to tour around Europe with a patient. So if you want to hear those story times, I have some. And it was and all of these are going to be weird. I have more and I want to share them with you, so I hope that you guys liked it. Yeah, I really don't have a lot else to say than just be careful, guys. Be careful. Don't, if you're uncomfortable, tell someone. Someone has to be out there. Someone wants to hear what you have to say. So tell someone. I should have told someone. I should have told the man that worked in my office to draw this patient. I'm sure this man would have dealt with this much better than I would have, and it just wouldn't have been me. So I should have told someone, and I regret not telling anyone. And next time you're in an uncomfortable situation, tell someone that's higher up than you, because they have to listen. Someone has to listen to you. So yeah, that's all I really have to say on this subject. And if you guys want to hear more stories, I have a lot more. And if you guys want to see behind the scenes, I have an Instagram, and I post like once a month, and it's not good, but yeah. And I have more vlogs coming your way if you like those. I have more story times coming your way if you like these. I have a lot more to say, and I'm not going to stop filming, even though I didn't film in the last 2 weeks. Even though I haven't posted in the last 2 weeks, doesn't mean that I'm not filming, and doesn't mean that I'm not thinking about you guys. So just know that. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. So also follow my Snap. I have a lot. I usually post a lot on Snap too. And yeah, so bye.